Hey everybody, this is Ramon Ray, founder of SmartHustle.com. Thanks for joining me for what I know is going to be another exciting podcast, interview, whatever you want to call it. And if you're listening to this on iTunes, on Stitcher, whatever other platform it is, feel free to give us a review and say it's great. If it's not great, email me quietly and privately and just tell me it's not. Either way. And if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/smarthustle. But I'm really happy to talk today to Ryan Hogan, who's the CEO and founder of Hunt a Killer. I believe I got that right, Ryan. Is that correct?
You did. I know it's weird. And we'll dive into it.
And from your background, sometimes I want to say Hunt for Red October or something like that, but I know it's not it. So, but Hunt a Killer CEO and founder. And Ryan, thanks for spending time with us today. Really appreciate it, man. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Excellent. I know you've had some military service, so I just do want to, I know for you all in the military, you kind of, I don't know if you ever get tired of it, but for us who are not, we say thank you because I think it's so important and means really a lot to me. So thank you for your service. And I do mean that really from my heart.
Yeah, thank you much.
Indeed. Ryan, so talk to us about Hunt a Killer. What is the company today? What is it? What's the domain name, by the way? Feel free to give some props. I'm not a mystery thrillist, but as my friend Seth Godin says, you know what? There are categories and niches, as it were, for everything. And I know this field is big. So tell us about it for those who don't know. What is the company? And give us a little peek inside this world.
Yeah, sure. So Hunt a Killer, and it's huntakiller.com. Very easy. It's the domain name. But basically, what Hunt a Killer is today is this immersive murder mystery that's delivered episodically each month. And so, when we started this thing, it was all about using this subscription box model back in 2016 as a vehicle to distribute our immersive stories or our great storytelling. And so when we launched this thing, it was all about sticking clues, items, and correspondence, physical goods. I have a box somewhere, but physical goods into, I know, hey, I'll go through the whole story with you. But all of these physical goods into a box and then shipping it episodically each month. And so, everybody starts at the same point. Everybody starts at episode 1.
Right.
And then they navigate through a 6-episode series.
Got it. And then what's the excitement of it when people, you're just saying, and this is, I'm Hunt a Killer audience, I'm saying this in honor, but you see the commercials, like when dog treats come in, they have that, have you seen the commercials, right? The dogs are going,
yep.
It looks like the pictures on your site, you can see the humans. I saw like a lady in her pajamas, they're like, I got it. Is that the feeling that people get when they get one of your boxes?
That is the exact feeling. And you must have looked this morning. I saw the same one. I love that post. And that happens every single day. And that even happens in my household. When we get a Hunt a Killer box, my kids, my wife are going nuts. And it's just because, we leave you on a cliffhanger each time. And so, you may have figured out who a suspect is. You may have eliminated a suspect. You may have figured out the murder weapon in your last episode. And now you're like, I need to solve the next episode. And so there is a lot of excitement around when these boxes go out.
It's like how me and my daughter watch 24. Ryan, I don't know how anybody can watch 2 episodes. Jack is falling off the cliff or the mole. You gotta watch the next one. So
gotta watch it.
Ryan, I think that for me, but feel free to disagree, that business is all the same. You have to attract customers. You have to educate them, nurture them to a sale once they buy from you. How can you get referral customers? Wow them and get them to buy more. And subscription business, you have to, I think as the software people say, right? Every month, we have to earn their keep every 6 months in your model, however it is. Can you walk us through some of the fundamentals of business that you're using? Let's start maybe with just the marketing. What are some things you've learned? How do you get the attention of those in the tribe of mystery to know about you? Because I'm sure there's other brands, there's other things they can do with their money. Part of it's nothing, which is a competitor. How do you get them to buy from Hunt a Killer?
Yeah, and so we've really had 2 core advertising channels since day one. And, it's funny because a lot of marketers talk about brand marketing and then they talk about paid advertising or direct response marketing. And we use traditional channels that you think about from a brand marketing perspective that work amazing for us from a direct response standpoint. And so the 2 primary channels we've had since day one has really been Facebook advertising and Facebook retargeting, and that coupled with podcast advertising. One of the reasons that we've been able to accelerate the growth of this company, I mean, we just shipped our millionth box last August, and I think we're coming up on 2 million boxes in a couple months. And so, one of the reasons behind this accelerated growth is being able to tap into audiences. They say, riches and niches. This audience is is looking for things to do, the true crime enthusiast. And that's really where we got our breakout. Now, we've certainly evolved over time. And one of the things that we have solved over the last year or so has been about how do we break into mass market? What is that message? What is that positioning? And we've gone away from the, do you want to be a detective and how'd you like to solve this crime, to put down your phone and have some real quality time with the people around you. And so we've really been doubling down on community. It's been a huge part of our strategy since day one. And we're again doubling down on community through building some technology.
I think that's powerful. And I'm curious, as you step into this role, is that a cautionary? What have you and your team gone through? Meaning, as you try to sell to Ramon, I'm making it up if that makes sense, meaning put your phone down, who's not a mystery enthusiast. Are you carefully doing that? Because I know part of the danger of going out of the niche is that, or the niche, as it were, that's why it isn't a niche, right? Because it's these people. So going out, it is a little longer education. It's a little longer whatever it may be. Talk about to educate us what you're going through, but what can we learn as well? Meaning, I'm used to selling to all the blue pen people. Now I'm going to try to reach the red pen people. It's a little different. Blue pen people are sold in. How do you guys see that, or what challenges do you see, or successes are you seeing?
Yeah, and this really comes back to community. And one of the things that we've done through that community is active listening. And so we do everything right now we have 120,000 people in this secret Facebook group, and they're in there. You saw the post. Yeah. They're in there sharing pictures of themselves about their new episode that just got here. They're giving us feedback, like positive and negative, and we love that. Not that we love doing things that are negative, but we love learning that perception so that we can make those improvements and make those changes. Right. The other thing that's come out of that community is messaging and positioning of the brand. How do people talk about our experience? And basically what we're doing is we're using their words. Where are they finding value in our product? And this is the new market, right? Because what we've been doing over the last 12, 24 months is slowly repositioning this product. And that's not about like taking one lever, slamming it down, and taking the other lever and putting it all the way. It's this long-term shift that happens. And as we do that, we build them into our community, and then we use the same sort of talking points that they have, and then throw that into paid advertising and messaging, and then just start testing our way through. So at any given time, we're testing hundreds of different creative, hundreds of different copy, and just seeing what performs the best.
So this must be like a good Petri dish, or whatever, a good maybe potpourri for you, your marketing team. Meaning Ryan doesn't have to lay awake at night. What headlines do I use? What's the best copy? You have 100,000 people who you can say, based on data and whatever your team is doing behind the scenes, these are the 10 things that are the best. So let's test this. You don't have to dream it new. It's kind of what I'm hearing as well.
Right. And the biggest thing I see, the biggest mistake I see in entrepreneurship is it's all about our ideas. It's all about my idea. My idea is amazing. This is going to be the best product ever. Or my marketing idea. Like we throw that out the door. We build a product for a customer. And when we launched this thing, we didn't even have a product. Like when we first launched it, it was a live experience. And then we pivoted into the subscription box model. But every step of the way, like we've been using customer feedback because we exist for the customers, right? Like, we understand our goals, we understand where we want to take this. And the vehicle in which we get there is going to change a million different times. And I think all too often people hold on to their ideas, or like, this is going to work. Like, we don't care if it's going to work. What we care about is what is the feedback, and how can we make the marketing better? How can we make distribution better? And how can we make the product better?
That is powerful. And tell me about that pivot and that shift. Was that accidental? Like, wow, we wanted to go across the country in 2016, it didn't work. Let's see if we can cut out cardboard pieces and ship them. Or was it more purposeful, or something totally different?
Really a little bit of both. And so what happened was I called up my co-founder. I've known Derek Smith since third grade now, I think. Okay. And I said, hey, you want to throw a live event? And so we got into this thing, and we came up with the concept and the idea, and then we launched it, and then we saw what sold. But what we quickly realized is that the idea didn't scale. And Derek spent 12 months putting together game design for a 200-acre campground that we converted into a living crime scene. And then we turn around and we sold the event out, and it was like $60,000 bucks. And then we took out all the expensive, and there's $10,000 bucks. Right. And Derek and I are like, holy crap, a year's worth of work and $5,000 to split.
I know the feeling. I do events. I know the feeling.
Yeah, it's tough. And not to say we're not going to get back into events is going to be a very big play for us in the future. Bringing people together physically, And that's more like brand marketing too, right?
Yes.
It's not going to be this huge revenue generator for us, but it's going to be huge to bring this community together, generate word of mouth, and establish ourselves as a household name.
Right.
But no, the concept, I mean, the short story is the concept didn't scale, and we said, well, wait, are there any other business models that we can deliver
Sure.
this experience?
And that could be where you're getting, and I use myself, Ryan, only as a template, as a metaphor of those who are not in the mystery field. That's where Ramon may be eating some barbecue chicken and a hot dog and say, you know what, let me sign up for a subscription. That's another lever that could work. Talk to us about, Ryan, about the how you built it from then to today. Can you give us some of the pillars? Can you think through some things? Ramon, we did this. We were in our living room. We went to an office or no office. This could be your home. I don't know where it is, but we're all in our home. But meaning, can you walk me through some of the steps to where it was in 2016, that first event, to today, that past thinking with what you can teach other entrepreneurs?
Yeah, and I think this is really going to come back to community and being customer centric and always focusing on the feedback. I mean, one short story is Derek was shipping these out of his basement, and it was Christmas of 2016. We had acquired 1,600 customers, and I get a message from his wife that said, "What the heck is going on?" And so, like, that's how this all started. So we very much started in a basement. I was active duty Navy at that time, stationed out in San Diego. So I'm running marketing and the business side. Derek's running the creative, writing the stories, doing all that amazing stuff. But really, it's always been about a feedback loop for us, and it's about taking our egos, taking our ideas, and it's okay to have ideas. Like, listen, like, business is only going to move forward if you have ideas, but you need to validate those ideas before you make long-term commitments or long-term investments into them. And so we have always looked at this as sprints. We have always used, the lean startup approach, the minimum viable product, ship it, feedback, iterate, ship it, feedback, iterate. And we've done that now, I don't know, 65 times, and there's probably been thousands of iterations.
Yes.
And so, we stumbled into this with the community, and by starting this secret Facebook community, what we were really trying to do is be able to open up that active listening and understand how people are experiencing our product. And then the byproduct of that community has been the word of mouth. Like, you saw it, the pictures, the excitement, all of these things that we weren't counting on have now become a core feature. So building a community and active listening or some sort of feedback loop is critically important.
I love it. What kind of things, Ryan, that you can share? Some things, I'm always cognizant of founders be like, you know what, this we want to keep under wraps. We'll tell you when we're not recording. But what kind of things do you outsource? What kind of things do you guys keep in house? Meaning, I know I see customer service on your website. Is that somebody you doing it, or do you outsource it? Other things, like, I'm curious, the product itself, and I don't need to know the detail of this, but is there a way, like, you just build it, ship it to a company, they make 10,000 boxes for you in a warehouse, and you hit a button, they go out? Can you just talk about some of the behind the scenes of how Hunt a Killer works?
Yeah, no, and I think, the advice I would give in relation to how we're currently doing this would probably be completely opposite.
Okay.
And the whole reason behind that is that we are such a unique product that we have to keep this stuff in-house. And
That's
so
true.
we do all of our own fulfillment. We do all of our own manufacturing. And while we don't actually, like, put together some of these items that come in, like, we might get items from a manufacturer in California, we might get one from North Carolina, but we bring all this stuff to one location, and then we manipulate it, we put it in a binder, and then we throw it in a box. And, we've tried doing some of these other things like outsourcing.
Right.
The problem is that outsourcing logistics or the manufacturing or fulfillment side of things, what very quickly happened is we started shipping stuff without a missing file or a missing piece of paper in that evidence binder.
That's a big deal. That's very frustrating.
The whole thing collapses at that point. Like, we have lost that customer for life.
And I must say, Ryan, I don't want to cut you up, but I must say, this is a Charles Chirwit shirt. I order them from them all the time. I have a closet full. I had a stain on my shirt. In my opinion, that to me is not as bad as a missing file. And I'm not even a gamer. But you know what I mean? The shirt, stain, send it back, done. But I spent 10 million hours with my family, and I'm realizing we couldn't get it because the critical. Am I right? Is that kind of where this is going?
That's exactly right. And our error rate was much more significant. Like, we started to kind of move in these directions, and the error rate was more significant. We don't outsource product development. Internally, we have graphic designers, writers, editors, media managers.
Sure.
We do all of this stuff in-house because at our core, like, we are a storytelling company. Yes. And then the last note would be, some of the customer service. The problem is that a majority of the questions that we get aren't like, hey, I'd like to change this in my account. Majority of the questions are like, hey, I think I solved this, but I need to know if like this, and this is correct.
I got
And like
you.
we need customer service agents
Yeah.
that get it. And so we've kept a lot of this stuff internal.
So the lesson I'm hearing then is that for those who you have to think through it. For somebody selling, I don't know, baby powder or whatever, Gold Bond powder, you could outsource it. That meaning you're shipping it, you hit a button and done. But maybe you don't outsource making the scientific. I'm making it up. But in your case, you thought about this, and this is the reason why. You maybe wish you could, but you cannot. Is that what I'm hearing?
If I were selling baby powder, I would be with a 3PL. I would connect the manufacturer to the 3PL, and I would never see the product.
Got it.
The issue that we have with that is that our core competency is actually making that powder and choosing the exact color of that container and then putting it all together. And that's why we haven't had that luxury.
Got it. It is interesting because even on Shark Tank, which I think is a great story for entrepreneurs, is that you hear some say, Kevin and others, they push it to make in China, which obviously can work, or make it somewhere else. Others say the very same thing you said, whether they're right or not. In your case, I think you're right, but meaning they said, we've tried it. This, whatever we're doing, we have to bring it in-house. So It's interesting how I don't think there's a right way. It seems like for most things that are more transactional, outsource it all. But some things you got to do it yourself. Ryan, anything I didn't ask you, and I hope I can talk to you again. Maybe I will become a customer. We'll see. But
That's great.
Anything, or you know what I'll do first? I'll gift it to somebody else who I know would love it more than I would.
There we go. There we go.
But anything I didn't ask you, Ryan, today that you want to talk about? I could ask you about so many things, leadership and hiring and other things, but anything that today you're saying, Ramon, here's what I really want to share to entrepreneurs who are listening to my story, anything you want them to know that you've learned, especially along the way.
Yeah, I think I probably already keyed in on this, which is, I do some coaching, I do some mentorship, and the biggest thing I try and focus on with entrepreneurs is getting them off of their idea and more onto this concept is going to change a million times, and treating entrepreneurship or treating business as very much a vehicle. So you have to understand what your personal goals are. Like, I understand what my personal goals are. I know where I want to be in 5 years. I know where I want to be in 10 years. I have no idea what it's going to look like during that path. I'm just going to be very excited to continue to build products that people want, because we're listening to the customer. And so, I've been in this loop before where we were creating products that nobody wanted. We went out and we bought, this was 10 years ago, and I knew nothing about entrepreneurship, and went and bought $100,000 worth of t-shirts, because I was like, we're going to compete with Under Armour.
Of course.
They sat in a warehouse. And like, that was a hard lesson in if you build it, they don't necessarily come. And so, like, starting with an MVP, launch your idea, get it out there. If you can go purchase it from Home Depot, go get it from Home Depot and sell it on your site. And figure out what the market wants before you ever, before you spend 2 years thinking about this amazing idea.
Yeah, I think that's powerful. What is, as we tape this, as we do this, Ryan, obviously we're in the midst of COVID, and we're doing this recording towards the end of May, beginning of June. How has it been with COVID? Has it been same, better, worse, especially compared to others? Like, are you guys really, as much as you want to share, is it really dropping, or is it increased because people are home? Any differences or what you've seen?
Yeah, so for us, demand has certainly increased. That's been a byproduct of COVID-19. Everybody is now trapped indoors, and they're looking for two things, which we create. The first is community, or an opportunity to put down their cell phones and connect at a deeper level with those around them. And whether that's somebody in their house, like their wife and children, or their spouse or partner, or it's somebody online because they are in isolation. They're trying to find hope and a sense of belonging. We provide that. The other thing here is escapism. Just as much of an impact as that community and putting down cell phones is the fact that we allow you to escape into a universe that we have created, a universe of it looks like real businesses, but they're not real businesses. And you're going on Google and you're searching all these things. And you're like, is this real life? And we allow you to have that escape. And so, we have certainly seen some of the benefits of that during this period, but that hasn't come without a cost. A part of this is shoring up our supply chain and making sure that we can keep up with demand. But we're excited for the opportunity to be able to kind of fulfill this vision during these trying times.
Yeah, for sure. No, I appreciate it. And listen, when you find out why are we getting 1 million orders more a day? You can just look at
there it is. There it is. We'll give you a link. You can get an Amazon gift card every time one comes through.
I love it. But one more time, Ryan Hogan, CEO of Catch a Killer.
Hunt to Killer.
Hunt to Killer. Hunt to Killer.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll edit that out. Let me say it again. Once again, Ryan Hogan, CEO of Hunt to Killer at hunttokiller.com. Great domain name, by the way.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Indeed, Ryan. Thanks for your time. This is Ramon Ray, ladies and gentlemen, founder of smarthustle.com for amazing interviews like this and more. If you're listening to us on Stitcher, on, iTunes, on and on and on, please give us a review. Give us a rating. Let you know you're hearing me, Ramon at smarthustle.com. If you're seeing this on YouTube, subscribe. Don't just watch and not subscribe. It's like going to Ryan's company, not buying a box. I mean, hello. So really, we want to serve you. And Ryan Hogan, glad to have you join us today.